Hey guys, my name's Peyton. Some of you might know me by my Instagram name, which is PeytonXAnn, and I'm a medical student starting in fall 2017. So I just made a YouTube channel to address some of the Instagram DMs that I get all the time from pre-med students like myself asking about summer programs, MCAT, my personal path to medical school, things that I would suggest, things that I wouldn't suggest, research, all that fun stuff. So if you're a pre-med student, I hope that my videos can help answer some of your problems. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start by first talking about my path to medical school, myself personally. So out of high school, I came to a small school in Texas. I'm from California. I came to a small school in Texas called Prairie View A&M University. And right off the bat, I was a biology major, which you do not have to be a biology major to go to medical school. There are a certain amount of prerequisites that you have to take. Of course, you have to take the MCAT, but being something other than a biology major, biochem, pre-med major, can diversify your application, and it is a good look. So I majored in biology my freshman year. It was fine. I got straight A's. I was taking general biology, general chemistry, things along those lines, very basic science classes. The summer after my freshman year, I had the opportunity to study abroad in Xi'an, China, which was a 6-week program, and it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. If you guys have the opportunity to study abroad, I would highly recommend it, because when I did step into my medical school interviews, they asked me to speak Chinese. They asked me, what my experience was like in those other countries, and it really does bring that diversity to your application. So that was the summer after my freshman year. I do want to stress that summers are so important when you are applying to medical school, because medical schools not only want to see good grades and good MCAT scores, but they want to see what you do in your free time that's gearing you towards your goal of going to medical school. So they want to see experience. They want to see that you've shadowed, that you know what you're getting yourself into, essentially, because they're making an investment in you. When you go to medical school, they only accept people who are not going to flunk out. So they want to make sure that this person knows this is exactly what they want to do. So they want to see your summers are filled with things that show an interest in healthcare. So everything was fun. China was great. I got back from China. I started my sophomore year. I was taking physics, organic chemistry, and some other classes that I don't recall, but I could look them up. Anyways, so after my sophomore year, I had the privilege of participating in the SMDEP, or Summer Medical and Dental Education Program, at Duke University, and it was one of the best summers of my life, if not the best summer of my life. That program is now called SHPEP. I would highly recommend doing a program just like this if you're a pre-med, because what these programs do is they give you exposure to medical school and medical school personnel and medical school students while you're an undergraduate student. So while I was at Duke, I was taking biochemistry, anatomy, ethics, a writing class that helped with my personal statements, and they gave us interview practice, and they put us through financing seminars on how to pay for medical school. It was just so educational, and we were allowed to shadow doctors at nighttime. So I shadowed in the medical emergency department, the pediatric emergency department, the neonatal ICU, medical ICU, and labor and delivery. It was just a lot of stuff, and it was just great. To me, it solidified the fact that I want to be a doctor. This is what I want to do. I'm going to do everything in my power to make this a priority and make this happen. So I would highly recommend doing a summer program like that gears you toward medical school, and it looks really good, really good on your application. Got back from Duke, which was amazing. I think I got back home around mid-July. So from mid-July until I started school in late August, I just picked up a Princeton book and I started studying for the MCAT. So now we're getting into the best stuff, and by best, I mean the worst. After school started, I had a plan to study throughout the whole fall semester and take my test in... Actually, my first plan was to take my test in like September, and I got to school and I realized that just wasn't gonna happen. So I made a plan to just, you know, pick up MCAT during the semester whenever I could. It was mainly just on the weekends because I was taking really hard classes. I think I was taking molecular biology and biochemistry and some others. So it was just really tough to do MCAT during the semester. So what I decided was to go home for winter break and hit it really, really hard, and then take my test in late January, which is exactly what I did. I finished my fall semester really strong. I came home for winter break and I was studying locked up in my room for about 8 hours a day. And every Saturday I took a practice test, and then come late January, I was ready to take my test. So in conclusion, we're talking about 5 hard weeks in the summer before my junior year, here and there during the semester, basically just taking practice tests on the weekends, and 5 to 6 really, really hard, strenuous weeks of studying during the winter break before I took my test. So that's like, what, 10 to 12 weeks of really intense studying for my MCAT exam. I took the MCAT, I scored a 500, which was, when I took it, it was the 54th percentile. So it was like right in the middle, a little bit above, and I was like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to study again. So I just, you know, I said one and done, and I was done with the MCAT after that. So after the MCAT, I was in my spring semester of my junior year. And you're probably wondering, oh my gosh, you took your MCAT your junior year of college, that's really early. It does seem early, but most people, until you really study the process, you don't realize medical school makes you apply a year early. So if you want to enter like me in fall of 2017, your application needs to be completed by fall of 2016, which is a full year in advance, because the medical school admissions committees need a full year to review your application, send you an interview, review your application again and again and again, and then finally, if you're lucky enough, send you an acceptance letter or a denial letter. So I took the MCAT, like I was saying, in the January of my junior year. So now we're talking about spring. I started human anatomy and physiology, and finished that semester strong. Everything was good. My GPA was exactly where I wanted it to be. And then the next summer, I didn't do a summer program. I never did research. I just started applying to medical school. So most medical school deadlines are around the end of November. So, but the biggest tip I can give is to apply early, because interviews are often given on a rolling basis, meaning whoever applies first, they are considered first for interviews. So if maybe there's 300 interview slots and you apply in August, but they've already started picking people in July, you can see how that will set you just a little bit behind. So I applied early. I got my application in mid-July. So the majority of my summer before that was spent getting my personal statements in order, making sure my teachers and everybody was on top of my rec letters. And then after I applied, I kind of just sat back the second half of summer. I was taking a few online summer school classes just to get ahead for senior year so I wouldn't have such a heavy load. And yeah, I just kind of hung out the rest of summer. I did not do research, which is something I want to talk about. I would highly recommend doing research, scientific lab research. It does look very, very good on an application. For me, that was something I was never interested in. I tried it. I did it for about 2 months, so I guess I did do a little bit. But my name was never on a paper or anything. I just could not stand sitting at a lab bench and pipetting for hours at a time. Some people, they love that stuff. And no shade, like, I wish, that I found it super interesting, but I don't. But I would highly recommend doing research. It looks really, really good on your application. I just gotta change out my battery, change out my memory card. This is just proving to be quite the task. So now we're at the fun part, and this is the real fun part, guys. So around September or October, I think it was October, I started getting emails for interviews, and I guess I should give you stats first. So I applied to 25 schools, 25, a lot of schools. Save your money for admissions because it is expensive. Hello? Huh?
Hey guys, so I forgot to finish giving you the rest of my stats because of that phone call. So I was going to say that I applied to medical school with a 500 MCAT, which I already told you, a 3.8 something GPA. I applied to 25 schools. I got 3 interviews, which turned into 2 acceptances, and I got waitlisted at that one school.
So, what else do I want to talk about? So, I got my first acceptance in December or January. So, after you're accepted to medical school, the rest is just keeping your grades up to submit your final transcript to those schools, because you do get a conditional acceptance, meaning they can take back that acceptance if you fail. But that shouldn't be a problem. If you've made it this far, you're not going to fail. And the rest is just, finding roommates, looking for a place to live. Yeah. And I'll finally be graduating May 13th, 2017, Bachelor's of Science from Prairie View A&M University. And it's been a hell of a ride. I've had a great time. I've made some of my best friends here in undergrad, and now I'm just looking forward to medical school. I know it's nerve-wracking and it's horrifying and it's scary and it's exciting all at the same time, but I'm eager to enter a new chapter in my life, and I hope that this video has brought you a lot of valuable information and help. I know it's my first one. Bear with me. I'll get better at doing this. I'm a little awkward in front of the camera right now. But I hope this helped you, and if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please put them down in the comments below or DM me on Instagram. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.